All right, so this is my presentation on building a learning commons. Now, this book I see as my public book. After skimming this one, I realized that this would be a really good book to take to work and to show other people because it has a lot of great forms. So I really worked hard not to write in this book. I kept this one in a semi-pristine form so that when I show it to other people, it'll look nice. But the first thing that I really liked about this one in particular was this chart on challenges and opportunities. Again, it's all the frame of mind, right? How do you want to view something? How do you want to frame it? One in particular that I really like, the stereotype of a school library as tightly controlled print-only information centers has led to marginalization and replacement of many professionals with support personnel. So that's a challenge. You know, that's not what we want, but it is kind of the place a lot of schools where they are today. And then the opportunity, a new breed of high-tech and Web 2.0 savvy professionals provide a refreshing opportunity to turn school library programs directly into dynamic engines of school improvement. And I put, you can't see, but a little me, because that's who I want to be. I want to be, you know, the leader of change, someone that is at the school to improve it so that there's learning going on and things are dynamic instead of static, because the world we live in is a dynamic world. All right, and then moving on to B, and this is the first of many pages that I thought about writing in and decided not to. I kept my own little written journal of action plans, 10 top reasons your school needs a learning commons. So, when I get to my job, whatever job my first job will be, I'm going to whip this out and look at what is the school like today? What do they have today that's meeting these needs? And then where could I see growth? And then where would I say is, the first choice? Like, gotta emphasize one or two things, can't do everything. So where do I think is a really good, focus for this particular school? And that's why these are great in the sense because they're blank slates and every school is different and every school has different needs. So it's good to kind of leave it open so you can adjust to what that particular school is needing. All right, so C. Okay, and then one of my favorite things out of this book is this Ask Your Clients, where the librarian realized that, okay, I don't have enough time, right? She was part-time. I just don't have what I need to make this learning commons come alive. So I'm going to present it to the kids and give them time and have them work on a solution. What do they want? What do they think would work? What do they think that the school needs? And letting them design it. What a great idea. I mean, really, many children, many thoughts, many ideas, right? Many brains working together. Plus, it's a true project of here's a problem, now find a solution. And then the fact that the administration got behind it. I mean, there's a part of me that says that's an ideal situation, and it may not always work that way, but if you engage the kids and you involve them and then they see change happening and they're like, yeah, that was so-and-so's idea. They thought it would be really good to have X in the library. Wouldn't it be great if we had pillows that were made with the school colors on them that we could all sit on and feel comfortable when we did story time or whatever? Seeing their ideas in action, it's a win-win. The kids win, the teachers win, the librarians win. I just think it's fabulous, and I'm like, this I'm gonna steal, no doubt about it. All right, so then the next thing that I noticed that I plan on implementing, or that I think is really, really, really important, is this statement. It says, the program drives the needs for the facility rather than the facility driving the change. That is exactly what I think. People need to think, what do we want for the school? What do we want the kids to learn? Who do we want to be? Who are we? Who are we and where do we want to go? Then think, okay, and what tools would we use to get where we want to go? Then, okay, this is what we have now, so how can we use it as the tool, or do we need to alter it or change it? And I came from a school that was one-to-one, and everyone was always, oh, we have these laptops, we have these laptops. Okay, and what are you using them for to make learning come alive? Other than the fact that kids are carrying a digital device to school every day, I'm not sure that more learning was going on, and I'm not necessarily sure that they were using the computer to enhance their learning. I mean, I think they were learning socially. They were really, learning to Skype or whatever with their friends, but not an academic sense. And it's because the school didn't take the approach of who do we want to be and what do we want to do with these tools. It's great to have tools, but if you don't have a plan, then the tool is totally useless. All right, so moving on to my next point in the book that I loved, and that, which was also really an epiphany for me, was this administrative computing versus instructional computing. I'm pretty strong with computers. My brother is a programmer, or was a programmer. He's now an administrator. And I've had a computer in my life forever. I mean, most of my students can't believe I've had one for as long as I have, but it's just something that my family valued. So we always had computers. And this difference between an administrative computer and an instructional computer it was like, okay, yeah, that's why this person sees it as like control. I need to control. And in some things, you don't want everyone to know what people's GPAs are. That's no one's business but that individual. And those types of things need to be exceptionally secure. But at the flip side, this instructional computing, it needs to be open, it needs to be experimental, it needs to be pushing that front edge. And that's, I think, the part that was missing at my last school. They had the administrative end, no doubt about it. They had a great person who knew how to lock down. He was very good at locking down. The flip side is no support for that instructional portion. The kids have the computers, but then there was no professional development. There was no implementing of a plan for the teachers. There was no guidance for how to instruct with the computers. And that's, I think, almost more important. I know you have to have that administrative end. You need to be safe, but you also need, how are we going to use this tool to actually learn and teach? And then the next part is this physical learning commons, what will it cost? My friend works at a school that is really, it's on a low budget. And she asked me, what can you guys do? What would a librarian suggest? And I've been thinking about it, and I'm probably going to use them as my school for the end project in this class, but not everything has to cost. Not always do you have to spend money. A lot of times, small, almost free or free opportunities can make a big difference in a school. And I know in China, where I live, we are very Google blocked, but there are things that we can access, and we shouldn't just take the approach of, oh, it will be blocked. It really needs to be, well, let's see, can we use this and what can we do? Instead of, oh, it's just going to be blocked, which, is defeating and is a challenge sometimes. But, we should do the best we can to keep an open mind. And again, forms, useful, practical forms. Here's another really, like a series of about 7 pages that are, leading that transition out. Okay, so this is the change we want to make. How are we going to change it? When are we going to change it? Who's going to be responsible? What are the resources? And then evaluating, where are we meeting these different needs? And this one, this one's amazing. This physical commons, just, are there places for people to study? Are there places for them to feel comfortable? Can adults and students both access the location? does it look like a learning space or a storage space? This is incredible. And I went in and used it. I didn't directly use it, but I went in and indirectly used it when I observed this semester a teacher librarian for one of my other classes. And, I didn't tell her what I thought, but I did really learn a lot about libraries and what they can or can't be by using this rubric. And then at the very end of this book is the gathering evidence or the reflection planning, how to be a school that monitors its progress. And I think that's the other part. It's great to believe, but if you don't have some type of measuring and tool that you're assessing yourself on or you're evaluating yourself on, then you're not going to have true growth.